Yo, what's good, my people? It's your boy, Big Chris, aka the Compton Animator, and I'm here to bring you another WWE Payback 2014 in Raw review. So I'm reviewing. First, we'll start off with Payback for 2014. I didn't get a chance to do a separate video for this. I've been very busy, plus I've been still having internet problems, so it is what it is. But I'm also going to review Raw for, let's see what it is, June the 2nd. 2014. So before we start anything, let's get into Payback. So the show itself, as far as the build up and everything to the Payback show, I thought they had an okay build up. If you watch my SmackDown review, I did my predictions. There was a lot of things that was hampering this show from having a good build up to it, like the WWE money problems, the whole stuff, all the stuff that's going on with Daniel Bryan, and just the general creative problems that the WWE have been having for the last couple of years, and it's really been seen, especially going into where, the last few months where your main champion is having a lot of problems and the company itself is going through some financial troubles as far as, the network and the whole TV rights deal and how those things are going around. So, there's a lot of things that were affecting this. And as far as the show goes tonight, you start off with the kickoff show with El Torito versus Hornswoggle. These two basically have a simple, little man match. It was nothing more than that. The crowd got hot for a couple of spots, like anytime what's their names, the Los Matadors and 3MB started doing these jumping spots and start getting into the match. But anytime it was anytime it was El Torito and Hornswoggle in the ring, it really wasn't a good match at all. It was okay for a kickoff show and for what it was, but there were just several things that are really slow about this match, and that was like, I really didn't care for it. El Torito ends up picking up the win. Hornswoggle tries to pull off his mask, and he had another mask going under it. Hornswoggle gets his hair cut for his troubles. So it is what it is. You had the full show kickoff with a really nice video for all the feuds that's been going on, especially with the John Cena Bray Wyatt in the Evolution Shield feud. I thought it was a very nice video to kick it off. The show starts with Paul Heyman coming out, and he starts cutting his promo about how the Blackhawks are about how what do you say? He starts cutting a promo about a Paul Heyman guy and how the Paul Heyman guy is here tonight, and how a great Paul Heyman guy. He says, the crowd starts chanting CM Punk. I don't think it was a great Paul Heyman's here guy, but he's saying he's the advocate for a great Paul Heyman guy. And the crowd starts chanting CM Punk, and he says no, he's across the street watching his team lose, basically. I thought that was really funny, just like intro for Paul Heyman. So he basically says that to introduce Cesaro, and Cesaro and Sheamus have a okay title match. I thought that they had a lot of hard-hitting spots here and there. That chemistry wasn't fully there. There was still some things that I was like, that still could be worked on. I think there could have been a lot more aggression in this match as far as, the tone both of these guys were going on. It felt like a regular match just with the title on the line to me, and it ended that way, especially with Sheamus winning with a roll-up. So it was nothing really special to this match. They just had an okay match here. Sheamus wins, like I said. Next, you get Cody Rhodes and Goldust, who faced Ryback. And before they talked about how they had the problems with Ryback and losing on main event. And then they go into this match, and you get Cody Rhodes and Ryback, who have an okay match. Cody Rhodes kind of slips on a moonsault and actually catches himself falling into Ryback. So that was an okay spot. You had another spot where Cody Rhodes gets power bombed into Goldust. So kind of showing that, they're not fully on point with each other. And the match ends up with Cody Rhodes taking the pin and off of a shell shock. And I thought this was an okay match here. After the match, you get Cody Rhodes, who gets a mic and says, Goldust brother to brother, you need a better partner. And as far as how they're showing their breakup between these two guys, I thought that was interesting. Having a guy who's just trying different things here and there, just basically take kind of the babyface role of saying, I can't be what you want me to be. you need somebody better than me. And I actually like that because you really don't see anybody break up a team in that fashion. So it was very interesting, and especially when they went to it on Raw. When I talk about that, it was even more interesting. So it was an okay match here. It felt like another Raw match. So yeah. So next you get Big E versus Rusev. Lana comes out and she just starts putting down America, puts up Rusev, puts up Putin, and Lana's still looking hot as all hell. She brings out Rusev. He swings the American flag all crazy and hard and shit. Like he swings the Russian flag, just like so crazy. It's just funny to me. Then you get another picture of her looking hot. Then you get Biggie who comes out and swinging the American flag the same type of way, just more. He has a little bit more groove to his swing, like just a little bit more ease to his swing. So both of these guys get into a match, and I thought they had a pretty physical, quick match. You get this one spot where a spot that Biggie's done before, where a guy is standing on the outside of the ring, and Biggie goes to tackle him, and they both fly to the outside. The crowd really popped for this, and there was a really good spot. And just the mass of both guys made it look even better. Probably the best Biggie's done this spot. So I thought this was a really good spot, and I like that he doesn't do it every show, and I like that it's kind of a thing that you save for the pay-per-view. So I thought this was a really good spot. On the outside, Lana was just going crazy, screaming at Rusev, and you saw a little bit more out of her here. I like more than just the titty, but you saw a little bit more out of her here, just how she reacted and kind of her being pissed off that Rusev is actually getting beat up. So I really did like that. You get them both back into the ring. Rusev ends up doing a super kick to Big E, then puts him in an accolade. Lana says crush, so he crushes. Big E taps out. Rusev picks up the win, and the Russian gets another win. Next, you get Bo Dallas, who comes out and he puts down the Chicago crowds, talking about the Blackhawks losing and they weren't believers. I kind of like this a little bit more because it's actually driving some heel heat, even though it's cheap pop for him. So it's a step in the right place, and especially what he did on Raw. I think it was an even further step into the right place of where his kind of promos need to go. Then you get Kim and Kofi Kingston. They get ready to start a match, and Kane comes out. Bo Dallas runs like a chicken shit heel, and Kofi Kingston tries to fight off Kane. Kane beats him up. Pyro, tombstone, choke slam, and all that above. So, I think the most worthless segment on the show tonight. I thought this was an okay segment for what it was, but it's just another Kane segment and something we've seen him do. Another segment that feels like something off of Raw. So, it was what it was. And Bo Dallas comes back into the ring and basically tells Kofi, he'll get him next time and he'll be back sooner than later, some shit like that. Basically, acting that babyface heel type of shit that he's been doing. So next you get a match for the IC title with Bad News Barrett versus Rob Van Dam. Back too far. I thought I had more pictures of that, but these guys have an okay match here. I didn't really think it was too much out of it. Rob Van Dam does look really old in these matches still, and just he's not that fresh anymore. You can very much tell. But Bad News Barrett does keep the match up. He gets a couple of good moves out of here. Rob Van Dam gets a couple of good moves out of here. The match goes down to where Bad News Barrett tries to go for a bull hammer, ends up hitting his elbow into the ring post. Then he ends up getting another one and actually hitting Rob Van Dam with it. Rob Van Dam also misses a couple of what do you call them? I think he misses one 5-star frog splash. And also before the match, Bad News Barrett cuts a good promo onto Rob Van Dam, talking about how he's just old yelling and shit like that. So I thought that was pretty funny as well. Oh no, it was either that or he was talking about his 5-star frog splashes and how they're not 5 stars, something like that. But he did one on Raw and one here, so I thought they were both pretty cool. And I like that he's now pushing them more to his opponent and less of them being just general assessments of the cultures or something like that. But I thought this was an okay match here, and a lot of these mid-card matches were pretty okay, some were average, but none of them were bad, just okay, especially for a pay-per-view match, they were just all building up to what you got later. But I thought this was a pretty okay match. I wasn't bored by it. And Bad News Barrett pays with the win and keeps his belt. I think the only heel to win tonight. So you get Stephanie McMahon comes out in this tight tail dress, and she calls out Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan brings out Brie Bella, and you basically get Daniel Bryan and Brie. Just Stephanie tells him he needs to handle the title. Stephanie is telling Brie that Stephanie feels sorry for Brie that Daniel Bryan has put her through all this stuff, and Daniel Bryan starts going back at Stephanie saying that she's that her kids, talking shit about her kids. Brie calls her a bitch. Then Stephanie says, "No, you can't hand over the titles now." Then Bryan goes to hand over the titles. Brie gets in front of both of them, says she quits, and slaps the dog shit out of Stephanie. I mean, gives her a really good slap there. I really like that. And then Stephanie just looks at him and runs out the ring, and the crowd chants yes. The crowd was very over here. Also during this, you had a really good part where the crowd was chanting for CM Punk, and Stephanie goes, "Yeah, Daniel Bryan should quit just like him." Like, that was really funny, and that was just a good pop out of the crowd. The crowd just kind of like she's getting really good at what she does now. So I thought this was a pretty good segment. I like that they're still keeping a championship on Daniel Bryan. Brie had enough in her to take the hit for this, and she'll be off TV for a while, at least until the next season of Total Divas, and they can even play up this on Total Divas. So, pretty okay segment here. So next you get I think the best match of the night for me, John Cena versus Bray Wyatt. These two went out here and put on a really good match. Bray Wyatt's entrance was really cool with all the cell phone lights going on, and just the crowd, the way they do this now is just very cool. And these guys' matches were just really good. You had the Wyatt family who looked like they was going to attack all three of them, attack Cena. Then the Usos come out, and you get Bray Wyatt and Cena, who start to have a pretty clean singles match, last man standing match. The Usos end up getting into it on a part of the match, and they end up fighting their way onto the outside. Bray Wyatt and Cena just go at it in each other. I mean, the pace of this match kept up the whole time. There wasn't a part where the referee was counting to 10 where you were just waiting for him to get to a 10 before the guy ends up getting up. I felt that, they did a very good job with this match in, keeping up a good pace and making sure that, the hits that they did hit was significant and felt hard hitting enough. I think John Cena did a great job of just picking his right times to sell for Bray Wyatt, and I think Bray Wyatt did the same thing. The Usos and the other Wyatt family, they did a good job of not interfering in this match too much. A lot of people say they did, but after watching the match twice, they was barely interfering or even doing anything in this match, and most of their contact came with each other, so I really did like that. And they even left the arena for a part of the match, so I thought that was very good as well. And so you get this one spot where John Cena gets thrown really good through a table. The crowd pops for this. Another spot where John Cena picks up the stairs and just chucks him out of the ring at Bray Wyatt, which I thought was fucking awesome. Just a very good spot, and probably one of the best spots I've seen in a while, especially dealing with the stairs. I've seen people attempt to throw him or throw him and miss, but these actually made contact, and Bray Wyatt's a G for actually letting these hit him. So that was very good. And you get the Usos and the Wyatt family who come back out. One of the Usos does the Rikishi bump to the one of the Wyatt onto Eric Rowan onto a table on the outside. Then the other Uso and Eric and Luke Harper go through a table off of the ropes on the top. So then just two very good spots and a good way of using the other guys here. The match goes down where Cena and Bray go through the barricade, start walking onto the outside. Cena puts Bray Wyatt through one of these equipment carriers, throws another one on top. Bray Wyatt goes down for the 10 counts, and Cena picks up the win here. I don't like Cena picking up the win here. I thought this was a very, very good match. I'm curious to see where they go with Bray Wyatt from here on. Do I think this hurts Bray Wyatt? A little. But I think his character and the possibilities of it is good enough to move forward. What I'm really hoping they do is push Bray Wyatt towards saying, what I need is the title. What I need to make myself stand strong and, beat a guy like Cena is to win that title. Take what, the company and everybody else feel as the prize and bring it to my family. So I think that if Wyatt can, go into a feud like that and even possibly win the title here or there, I think that would do very good for him and bounce him right back up. So next you get the Divas match on the card, and it was Alicia Fox versus Paige. This was an okay match here. They had, just a very hard time having to follow that last man standing match. Paige had some offense here. Alicia Fox had some offense here. They got outside and did a little bit of moves on the outside. Got back in the ring. Alicia Fox tried to go for a few moves. It doesn't really work. Paige puts her inside the Paige tap out, the Scorpion Deathlock that she uses, and Alicia Fox taps out, and Paige just cheers and leaves the ring. Alicia Fox goes to look like she's about to go crazy, but just ends up running out. As far as the match itself, it was okay for a Divas match. I was kind of disappointed that Alicia Fox really didn't go crazy and tantrum here. I thought they had the time to do it, but I guess that, they wanted to devote more time to the Evolution Shield match, which, it was whatever. But I'm kind of sad that Alicia Fox didn't get, enough time to really play off her character in this pay-per-view. I really would hope that, they would find a way for her to really get some good, play, because I've really been liking this character that she's been playing right now. I thought it had been really good. So you get your final match, which is Evolution versus Shield. And this match right here started off kind of too chaotic for me, with all 6 guys just going crazy and fighting on the outside. They get onto the outside with everybody, and they do end up getting back into the ring at one point. But I thought it was too chaotic at the beginning. Once they got back into the ring, it kind of settled down and they got into a regular match. Then from there, they kind of kept the camera on all 3 guys. All 3 guys kind of stayed in the same spot when they did get outside the ring, which I thought was way better when you have guys separating each off from each other, and the camera has to figure out, okay, where I'm going to look at next. You either miss a spot here, or you just don't really. It's too chaotic for its own good. So I like that. When they stayed together and did their things together, it stayed very good. Evolution really took control in most of this match here, beating down on the Shield. They didn't eliminate anybody. They were going on to more of the thing of, fuck the eliminations. We're going to tear these guys' asses in half. And that's basically what they tried to do. They put Roman Reigns through a table, which I thought was pretty chill. So they get back to they get up to the top stage, to the Titantron stage, and start beating the shit at the Shield, get back into the ring, and they just start fucking up Roman Reigns. Tears off his vest and shirt and just start going at him with these kendo sticks and just whooping his ass. Then they go back out and try to get the rest of the Shield members. You get Seth Rollins, who just comes off the top of the Titantron and dives on Evolution, which was a very good spot here, and not as good as his one from the last pay-per-view, but I thought this one here was not bad at all and was pretty good. Then you get them all go back to the ring, and the Shield just goes and clear house. They take out Batista first with I believe they took him out with a spear. And Randy Orton, they took him out with a spear, and then Randy Orton with the Dirty Deeds. Randy Orton got taken out, with the Dirty Deeds, and then Triple H got taken out himself, I think, with a spear. Some shit happened like that, but it was it was a pretty chill match. It started off kind of too chaotic, and they found themselves by the end, and the way the Shield just, ran rush shot over Evolution was very good, and especially what happens on Raw, this is going to be a very interesting to see where they go from here on. But I thought this was a pretty good match here. Not as good as the Last Man Standing match, but I thought it was pretty good nonetheless. Not as good as their last match that they had on the last pay-per-view, but like I said, it was a pretty good match. So yeah, as far as you get them standing over Triple H. As far as this show goes, I would give it a B-. I thought it was a pretty okay show. B-, C+. It really didn't do anything too special. I will remember the whole John Cena and Bray Wyatt match. The Evolution match was pretty chill. And the only other thing on the lower card that I was even good, felt any more excitement than average for was the Big E and Rusev. I actually really did like that match, and it had a good pacing and time to it. So, it was an okay show tonight. Nothing too much to get excited about. But if you're going to look at the show, go watch that Last Man Standing match. That was really good. So let's get to Raw, which happened on June 2nd, 2014. And the show kicks off with Evolution coming down to the ring. Randy Orton still the only one who doesn't wear pants again. So you get Evolution comes down to the ring. Triple H got a shiner in his eye, and they just start talking about everything that's been going on, especially from the match last night. Triple H keeps saying that it's not over. He has a plan B, and he's going to keep trying to fight, and they're going to have some type of a match tonight. And he just keeps going crazy about how he didn't lose and it's not over with this whole Shield stuff. So, hold on one second. Had to get a drink of water. So, you get Batista who hops on the mic and he just starts going crazy talking about how he was promised all these things and Triple H hasn't given him anything. He was promised a singles title match. He hasn't got that. He was promised a championship. He hasn't got anything that he was promised when he came back to the show. And he just gets pissed off about it. Triple H says, if we do what I say and, do what I need you to do, then you can get it. But until then, you ain't getting shit. And Batista says, you know what? Fuck that. I quit. And Batista just drops the mic and starts leaving, and he does this funny ass wave that just killed me the way he was waving, man. That shit was funny. And that along with, I didn't talk about this earlier, but that along with what he had on at Extreme Rules with these he had on blue boots with these like warm-ups and then these blue arm warm-ups on it, and it was just, they're calling them Blue Tista. That was just so fucking funny and just so fucking Batista here. I think he's fucking just trolling us and just having fun with the whole character right now and everything that he's doing. So he's going to go off and do press for the movie. So, I thought this was a pretty good way to put him out and to get Triple H even more pissed off to probably be desperate to do something later on in the show. So you get a next match, which is Paul Heyman at the announce table, and it's Sheamus versus Cesaro, with Sheamus and Rob Van Dam versus Cesaro and Bad News Barrett. They have an okay match here. It goes down where Sheamus is going rush shot. Paul Heyman's kind of seeing that Cesaro's not really handling well in this match. He's about to eat a bro kick. Paul Heyman pulls him out of the ring, and they just kind of go together. They start leaving. Sheamus kind of takes that and just goes crazy and ends up bro kicking Bad News Barrett. And like I said, they had an okay match. Bad News Barrett was good here. Sheamus was okay here. Rob Van Dam was okay here, and I thought Cesaro was good here. Nothing too much to it, and another win for Sheamus and Rob Van Dam. So next you get a comedy match with comedy segment with Damian Sandow basically being one of the Indiana Pacers. He starts talking shit about them losing to the Heat. He's dressed as one of the members of the Pacers team and starts doing these basketball moves. Big Show comes out, gets the ball, throws it at him, punches him, slam dunk, end of the segment. It wasn't the worst one of these things that Sandow's been doing, but it's not good. You know what I mean? The funniest part is one of the actual Pacers teammates is one of the actual persons for the Pacers team is actually in the crowd. So just his look on his face during this whole segment was priceless. But other than that, this segment was pretty shitty. After that, you get Bo Dallas, who comes out, and it's weird that they put these segments back to back because he goes into this promo when he comes out and he's facing Kofi Kingston. He goes into this promo and he starts talking about how the Pacers would have won if they believed like the Heat did, and I really did like that promo here from him. And just more of this whole hillish, getting this whole cheap pop that he's been getting, and I think this works really well for his character. He got him some heat with the crowd, and they start booing him and during the match and stuff. And the match itself was okay. I thought both of these guys did what they needed to do. Kofi Kingston is a really good worker inside the ring, so he really did make this match and made Bo Dallas look really good here. Bo Dallas ends up coming up with the win here and tries to go for a handshake to Kofi Kingston and it doesn't happen. So yeah, it was an okay segment here. Then you get Stephanie McMahon, who comes out and she starts going crazy about all the things that's been happening, about her being slapped and stuff like that, and just talking about it. And she ends up saying that, okay, so if Daniel Bryan wants to keep the championship, that means he has to fight at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. So either he's going to fight Kane in a stretcher match, or his title is going to be up for line in the Money in the Bank match instead of having a briefcase up for line. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do from here, whether or not Daniel Bryan actually is going to be back in time for that. As far as that goes, I understand why they're thinking of the stretchers thing, because for the last month or two, Daniel Bryan has been brought on stretchers, and it kind of does make sense. It's not the match that we wanted to see. If they were going to do something with Kane, that was more the Barrett Alive thing that everybody was kind of interested in seeing, but as far as this goes, it's okay for what it was, and it'll be our last time seeing Kane against Bryan, hopefully. You get John Cena, who comes out, and they have a pretty funny interaction. John Cena comes out with the boos as usual, but his interactions with Stephanie here and putting over Daniel Bryan was pretty interesting, and it got the crowd to get behind him. They start going back and forth, and he even takes a shot at her. She takes a shot at him about being booed, and he takes a shot at her about her fake tits, and just a pretty funny little back and forth between them two. The crowd gets a kick out of it, and Cena actually gets some babyface heat off of this. So, just a pretty interesting segment between them two. She ends up setting John Cena up in a match between him and Kane for next, and it's just basically John Cena putting over Daniel Bryan here and trying to put over how good of a guy he is and how strong of a guy he is and how the Authority have been fucking him over the whole time. So I actually did like this segment a lot. And you get John Cena versus Kane, a typical John Cena versus Kane match. Kane ends up getting a DQ win. Getting a DQ loss. John Cena picks up the win, and Kane gets him outside. John Cena throws his steps at him, and Kane just gets pissed off and sits up from it. So, okay match here. Nothing too special or nothing too bad out of it. After that, you get Hornswoggle and 3MB who come out, and it's going to be two of the 3MB members versus the Los Matadors. Hornswoggle has an afro on, and they said that they use Miracle Grow to grow it back. So Hornswoggle is standing on the outside. 3MB and Los Matadors are having a match. El Torito comes up, pulls the wig off of Hornswoggle. He has half of his hair cut and just looks silly as fuck. I did like that part about this. It was okay for what it was. I wish they would have even done this even faster and just made it a backstage segment or something. I don't think they need to always make the things between these guys in ring segments, but it was okay for what this stuff was. And I don't really remember who won whatever match this was supposed to be. I think it was Los Matadors who picked up the win here, but it really doesn't fucking matter. All that matters was them showing Hornswoggle half a head shave and just bald spots and shit. Next, you get Nikki Bella versus Oksana and Alicia Fox in a handicap match. This match was set up basically because Nikki was talking about her being upset that her sister had quit, and because basically she's now alone. Stephanie overheard that and put her in this handicap match. Nikki gets a little bit of offense here in this minute of a match, but Alicia Fox and Oksana beat her up, pin her. They throw her onto the outside and start beating her up anymore. Alicia Fox hits her, her scissors kick move. They throw her on the outside. Alicia Fox is going crazy, and she had a pretty good character in this match. It's just a shame that she can't do more of this. It seems that they're starting to push her back to the side again, which is just something I hate. They got a lot of time on these shows. They can give these girls a good match here, but she goes crazy. They beat up Nikki Bella, and the ref makes them leave. So this was okay. And right after this, you get the Wyatt family who cut a promo, and they're basically just going on about how their leader isn't here, and just talking about how their leader isn't here and that they're going to take it out on the Usos, and just pushing more forward to maybe these guys are going to have a title match. So I really did like the whole speech from especially Luke Harper, who just cut a pretty nice promo here. I really did like that. So after this, you get the Adam Rose versus Jack Swagger match. Adam Rose really showed a lot of his character, even more than previous before with this, slapping Jack Swagger's butt here and just doing wild things, jumping on him and stuff, and just doing interesting things here. The crowd was the few members of the crowd was liking him. You saw a few Adam Rose signs, so it seems that he's getting over little by little, and I think that's pretty cool, especially that it's not how Fandango was, where he got over real quick, then it exhausted. It seems like the more Adam Rose adds to his character, the more he gets over, so it's pretty interesting seeing where they go from here. The match itself was okay. Adam Rose ends up picking up the win here and dancing with the Rosebuds at the end. He picks up the win with the party foul. So next you get a match with the Usos versus the Wyatt family. The Usos cut a promo before this match or early in the night, sometime like that, and basically talking about how they're fired up for the match, calling themselves pit bulls and stuff, and just crazy type of Ultimate Warrior style promo where they just going crazy and talking a bunch of crazy shit. So they get into this match, and I thought this was actually a pretty good match here. It had a lot of time here, and the way these guys worked was very good. You saw one of the Usos get beat up for a good amount of the match, but they always kept themselves really in it with strong kicks and strong, uppercuts to the Wyatt family. And the way both teams worked here, you got some very athletic guys in this match, and they did a very good job of just making this match stay fun and just, keeping a cool pace to this match. And I really did like for what they were doing here. The match goes down. You had this one spot before I talk about that where Luke Harper tries to go for his spinning clothesline and eats a super kick out of nowhere from one of the Uso members. I thought that was very good. The match comes down to where one of the Usos ends up getting into this type of side slam by Eric Rowan, and it's just a really good slam onto his spine. Picks up the win from that, and the Wyatt family just stand tall looking over the Usos, and you have Bray Wyatt's chair that was sitting out there empty, and we'll find out what happens with him on SmackDown. So I thought this was a pretty chill match here leading into what is next. And that was a Money in the Bank qualifying match. Dolph Ziggler versus Alberto Del Rio. Another pretty chill match here. Dolph Ziggler and Alberto Del Rio, I think, always work good together when they get into a match, and I think this was no exception. You had Dolph Ziggler looking very well here. Alberto Del Rio kicks, which is always good, and Dolph Ziggler's athleticism is just top notch when these two go into a match. They both had a good amount of offense and defense split between each other. You get a famous serve from Ziggler, and you get one of them kicks to the corner from Del Rio. Ziggler pulls Del Rio off the top and drops him onto his face off of the top rope. That was a pretty good move, and the match goes down where Ziggler ends up getting put into the cross arm bar and taps out from it. Alberto Del Rio is going to the Money in the Bank pay-per-view for the Money in the Bank match. I was kind of disappointed that Ziggler is not going. He got a crazy pop from the crowd, but it is what it is. Hopefully they can find something to do with Ziggler at the pay-per-view. I say this, but I keep saying I'm gonna make some more videos, but I really do want to make a video about Ziggler and my thoughts on him, and actually what I think he should be doing as far as not just being in the WWE, but finding himself a place, not somewhere besides just the WWE. I think there's a place for him on the Indies, and I think that if he made a move saying he doesn't want to be here no more, and he wants a more dominant position on the roster, then I think he would. You might have to take a money hit, but I think you can rise your stock up more from doing what you need to do as far as just going out there and putting your cards on the table. But it was an okay match right here, pretty chill, and Dario moves on. So next you get a match with Goldust and Sin Cara versus Ryback. So Cody Rhodes puts Sin Cara with Goldust, saying he's trying to find him a good tag team member. Very mediocre match here. Sin Cara and Goldust end up picking up the loss after Curtis Axel hits Sin Cara with one of his finisher moves, and it wasn't nothing too special out of here. Sin Cara's character still isn't coming over, well enough, especially in a tag team match. He's more of a singles competitor type guy. He needs to get more of what Rey Mysterio had in him as far as being more of a character and less of a guy just in the mask. So, I'm interested to see where they're going to go from here with Sin Cara, but a mediocre match for what this was. After that, you get Lana, who comes out looking hot again, and she's introducing Rusev. She starts talking about the crowd, telling them that, they're worthless and they should be ashamed of themselves for not honoring a guy like Eric Snowden, who basically told all Americans, gang American secrets and shit, and that he's a Russian hero and stuff, and he should be an American hero too, but Russia will take him in. Then she goes on more about Vladimir Putin and just putting him over again, brings out Rusev and says that this is a ceremony for him winning his last several matches and being undefeated still. They give Rusev this star award, and Rusev just comes out in a suit coat and in pants and a white tee under it. It kind of did look like Russian trash, like Russian white trash. So I thought that was interesting the way he looked here, and it was very funny to me. But this segment alone, you had the guy come out and give Rusev the medal, and Lana just looking proud of her boy from this. The only problem I had with this was they did the Russian national anthem, and that was it. There was no, continue on a storyline or advancing a new storyline from this. It was just Rusev getting this medal. I think if Rusev was a bigger character, this would have went over better. But because of what his position is, it just seemed like it was unfinished here. So I would have loved to see them probably do more from this. So next you get the Shield, who comes out. They basically get in the ring and they talk about their domination. Dean Ambrose goes on basically saying, "See, we told you." Seth Rollins says similar stuff, and Roman Reigns says that they're brothers and that's the reason why they're together. Then he says that with an open hand, they're the Evolution. With a closed fist, it's the Shield. And he tells Randy Orton to bring his ass out here so he can get his ass whooped. So you get Randy Orton and Triple H who come out, and they start going on about their plan B and stuff, and how they always have a plan B. Triple H has a sledgehammer. You get Seth Rollins who goes back and gets a couple chairs, brings one to the ring. Looks like he starts looking like he's just getting ready to, go out there and fuck up Randy Orton and Triple H. But he ends up striking Roman Reigns with the chair and just beating down on Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose with the chair. And this was very shocking. I did not expect this at all. I've seen one guy talk about how he thought that the Shield should have crossed one another at last night's pay-per-view, but I don't think anybody expect this to happen. And basically Seth Rollins runs shot, just beating the shot at guys with chairs. They end up taking off Roman Reigns' suit, jacket, and stuff, and start beating him with the chair and shit. And Seth Rollins is just beating the shot at both of them. He ends up doing a curve stomp onto Dean Ambrose's face onto the chair, which is a pretty good move. And then hands Randy Orton the chair, and Randy Orton starts going roughshod onto Roman Reigns and starts beating the shot at him with the chair that does RK on top of the chair. And Triple H comes in there. They all pose for the camera. And Seth Rollins has joined Evolution and turned on his own Shield teammates. Before I talk about anything, just, they put up this pose really was killing me. Just this gangster pose by Triple H, this was really killing me. And it was a couple more pictures. Roman Reigns back toe the fuck up. I thought this was a really good picture, and you get the new Evolution guys there. But it's how do I feel about this whole segment? I think that a lot of people have been saying that, the Shield were at a high point and they should have kept them together. This was the wrong idea to break them up. But my view of this whole thing is that what better time to break them up? You're going to possibly get no higher than where they are right now, especially as a faction of a team. And, probably you can give a guy a belt, which they've already had belts. You can face them against the Wyatt family. They've already been against the Wyatt family twice in 2 different occasions. You could build up a team to fight them. They've done that. You can put them at WrestleMania. They've had 2. I don't really see where else you can go with the Shield from here, besides making one of the members turn on the Shield and him joining Evolution and facing Shield versus Evolution. I think this was the only logical step, and I really do like it here. Hopefully they have a good explanation of why Seth Rollins left, and not just for money. I think a good explanation would be, him leaving because he just felt that once anything happened, he was always going to be in the shadow of these guys because he was a smaller guy, and, he was not the great on mic. He wasn't too great on mic like Dean Ambrose, and he wasn't the big strong guy like Roman Reigns, and he had to edge out a spot for his own self. He saw that they were going to go further and further and maybe leave him behind one day, and he wanted to take, a shot at doing something, or Triple H offered him something that he had to take or something like that, probably say something about his kids or his family, and he, hopefully they find a good way that's not a chicken shit way, like, oh, he did it for the money, or something like that. Or a good way would be like, they promised him a title shot for the future and saying, he's going to get to go against Daniel Bryan instead of Kane or something like that. So it's going to be interesting to see where they go from here. I actually like what they did tonight, and I think this was the best way to move on with the Shield. It's sad seeing them being broke up, but I would rather have them rip the Band-Aid off like this than to do another slow breakup. So I thought this was very good here. As far as my grade for this tonight's show goes, I would actually give it a straight B. Not a lot of the matches here tonight were were good, but I thought were they weren't bad and they weren't great, but I thought they were pretty okay. A lot of the segments were pretty okay here. I didn't really feel bored during the show tonight, and I thought the end segment really did show the whole show for me. And if you watched anything, watch this end segment, watch the beginning segment with Batista, and watch a few of the new matches like the Usos versus Wyatt and the Dolph Ziggler versus Del Rio match. I thought those were pretty good parts. But like I said, I give it a straight B minus probably. That's probably a B minus. I thought it was just as good as last night's show was. But yeah, check out all my other videos. If you're catching up on wrestling, you can watch my videos from the last year. Hit me up in my links. I'm putting up more art and stuff like that. Hit me up on Facebook at Christopher Wallace. You can hit me up on Tumblr and all the other stuff with my links down below. And thank you for watching my video, people. Like, comment, subscribe. Keep watching wrestling, and peace.